Welcome in, Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League fans, into the return of Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day here on your home for MMJHL Hockey on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. I'm your host, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth. This edition of MMJHL Game Day brought to you by Terrico Goaltenders. Make cannon fasteners and tools and Can Central Sports Cards and memorabilia. It's the battle of two top three teams here. Coming up this afternoon in the MMJHL's loaded Sunday of actions. 5 games all on tap for this Sunday. 4 of them going this afternoon. 3 have already gotten underway. As we take a look at the standings, all 8 playoff teams are set. It's just a matter of who finishes where. The Twins look to get closer and closer to securing a first place berth in the MMJHL playoffs, while St. Boniface looks to keep pace with the teams at the top and looking to keep themselves in the top 3. We're going to have the national anthem as well as the first period of play coming up next year on your home of MMJHL Hockey on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. We're glad to be back here at Southdale Arena on this Sunday afternoon. It's 2 top 3 teams here in the MMJHL going at it. The current first place Fort Garry Twins riding a 12-game win streak heading into this afternoon's matchup, looking to make it 13, while the St. Boniface Riels sit 4 points behind Fort Garry in third place, coming off of a loss on Thursday night against the St. Vital Junior Victorias. They were 9-0-1 in their last 10 heading into that matchup. So, hasn't been many losses between these two teams throughout, the past 20-plus combined games or so. We're set to get the puck drop. We're underway here from Southdale Arena on this Sunday afternoon in the return of MMJHL Game Day. Sorry we've been away, everybody, but MFHL playoffs have taken precedent over this past week as the first round. We're going to be continuing into this upcoming week here in the MMJHL to a final few weeks of the regular season here heading into this weekend, and we got a treat on tap this afternoon as this one kicked outside, sent in deep by the Riels, going off for a line change early to keep things fresh. That cross-ice pass across to Lizotte as he's into the Riel zone now. Lizotte with a bit of trouble near the Riels blue line just sends it in deep. This onto the stick of Mike Hepner. Snapped onto the stick of Davis. Davis speeds it right back into his own end for Hepner. D-to-D this goes to Kalen Reyes. Looks up ice, instead has this disrupted along the boards by the stick of Lizotte. Tried to hit number 66 and Brody Melstead with the pass. Player that the Riels acquired at this year's trade deadline. That off the stick of Melstead to Cockrell. As Cockrell sends this all the way in deep. Leads all rookie scorers in scoring this season. As this held in at the line by Hepner. Can't get that in deep past number 11 and Balshaw. As puck remains in the Twin zone offside. As this touched up by the Riels on a delay. Face-off going to be all the way down into our starting goaltenders for this matchup this afternoon. It's Mike O'Sullivan for the home side and the Riels, and It's McLeod for the Fort Garry Twins. Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. Be sure to visit their website for more information, more details at Gordy Tummelson goalies.ca. It's the Riels send this in deep. McLeod out of his own net to stop this up well enough for Caligari. He takes a bump along the boards. That's number 88 and Cole Davis in on the attack. As at the point, that shot wide of the net off the stick of number 18 in Noah Keating into the Riel zone. Now the top line for the Twins can't quite work that across. Now the Riels work it back, and it's Sukin. His shot turned aside by McLeod, as that gives us a stoppage in play. 17:56 remaining this first period of action. That's brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. It'll be Brody Melstead on to take the draw for St. Boniface. Won by Melstead just to the wall there. I believe Avon Cockrell down low off the stick of Connor Davis, as the Twins look to work this out from in deep in their own end. Along the wall, trying to help out. It's Canoe as well as number 16 and Jace Matthews. Livingstone also in to help now with this puck held in at by the Riels at the Twins line. So it's sent in by Jace Matthews. Off the backboards, chased down by Neufeld. Keeps this down low to Canoe. Canoe pinned up along the boards by Reyes. Melstead in to help. Jace Matthews into the battle once again. This time on the forechecking end of things, and the Riels end, as the Riels try to get this loose into safety in their own end. It's kicked up the boards by Reyes. Tries to flip it out, but decides to circle back and goes D to D across to number 39, and Miller, that deflected off of Reyes' stick into the safety of the paddle of O'Sullivan as he left that for Reyes, who looks to go for a skate. Reyes to the backhand, gets cut off, so sends it into the skates of a Twins defenseman. No offside on the play. Riels looking to capitalize. Melstead has that blocked up. That slot shot in the lane well enough was Eric Voth as the Twins work this all the way out into the Riels end for an icing. Shot so far 2-1 in favor of Fort Garry. Number 16, Aaron Birchinger, to take this offensive zone draw for the Twins. Medwick still out there for Fort Garry. Sorry, it was Birchinger for the Riels, not the Twins. Where's number 16 for the Riels? This is passed back to Livingstone. Livingstone behind the back pass off the boards to Voth. Up to an outlet man on Lazat as Lazat's pass into the skates of Hedlund. But out for the Twins back into the Riel zone. Buckner up the boards. A Riel there takes a body check. Number 44, I believe. As this Hedlund heads to the net. Fans on that shot and the slot scores! Darian Medwick puts it away to open up the scoring for the lead. The league leading Fort Garry Twins, as I should say. Right place, right time for Medwick. So he silences this Riels crowd early. That goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. It's number 24 and Caden Hedlund who makes the play to the net. Pinching up into the play, taking that puck to prime real estate. And puck gets loose. The Riels unable to clear it away. They've been so good at boxing out all season long, but didn't account for Medwick, who's able to get that loose puck past Mike O'Sullivan. So give the Twins the first lead of this hockey game. The Riels looking to counter. It's Matthew Trott looking to drive wide over. Matani is that attempt to tuck that inside the left post, denied by McLeod. McLeod readjusting his glove now. The Twins look to work this out. Lambert cuts off at the blue line, but that play ends up being halted due to the puck going out of play, being sent out off of the stick of Lambert. There'll be a draw outside of the Twin zone here coming up. So that draw won by Fort Garry. Pressure in is Brzezinski on the forecheck. Nice pick off by Hepner as he feeds this over to Sukin. Scores! Tie game number 12, a laser beam tie things up at 1 apiece. Well, it starts with a great play by Mike Hepner holding the blue line, picking off that clear attempt from Fort Garry, and Hepner, knowing he's running out of space, sees a wide open Reeve Sukit out of the corner of his eye, and Sukit, an all-star this season, dazzles there with an absolute rifle of a shot. Seen him do it before, we see him do it again here to get things within even shortly after Fort Garry opened up the scoring with that goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Speaking of Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools, though, we got a commercial that you may not have seen yet. We premiered it on our MMJHL podcast that went out on Friday. It's showcasing our Brandon location. But that goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia stores. That glove down by Mike O'Sullivan. Stoppage with 14:34 remaining in this first period of action. Deflected into the boards and now played back by Cockerell as it gets over to Davis. Tries feeding it to Cockerell in the neutral zone, but that cross-ice pass just out of the reach, sent in on O'Sullivan by the Twins. It was Medwick, the goal scorer in this game for Fort Garry, as the Riels get it back. Melstead plays it up to Cockerell. Cockerell will be challenged well by Ethan Johnson high up in the Twins zone. Riels able to work this towards the net, though Davis, his shot, ends up going wide on the back end. With the backhand. Side of the net, that puck gets loose, but nothing doing for the Riels as the Twins will work this out just past the red line, sent in opposite corner. Lizotte given chase, sticked away by Dominico, played up the boards and out down that right side for the Riels. It's regroup back into the Twins zone now. Matani goes right back to his deep partner, and Johnson took that in his skates, recovers and skates up now. Johnson able to dangle his way through. Not sure if he meant to do that toe drag, but stopped up well by the good rush defense of the Riels. Johnson back on it down low, still active in the play. The Riels able to get this out. That pass out of the reach as Voth goes to battle with Cockerell on the boards. Puck flipped out by the Twins now into the glove of Reyes. Two Twins converge on him. The Riels get this across into safety, trying to play that towards the net. Onto the stick of Carson Dubois, but puck never got to him. Across now off the boards to Reyes. His shot towards the net. Loose puck there off the stick of Lambert as he couldn't cradle that near the point. The Twins try to flip this out, but cut off by Reyes. Down low to Dubois. That pass cut off into the slot for Trott. Reyes looked like he was about to load up there, but Trott got to that puck first. Now the Riels try to strip that away. The Twins able to get it out now, just out the blue line. Nice nifty pass over to Gorchinski, over to Balcho. Shot gets blocked. Huge one there from number 4 and Hepner. Sent down low now by the Twins, but cut off by Reyes. 12:16 remaining in this period. Tied at 1 apiece. Behind the back pass from Gorchinski, unable to hit. Cut off by Hepner as Hepner looks to skate this up. Oh, watch out. Hepner taken out huge there by Gorchinski. Tries going backdoor. Huge save by O'Sullivan to deny that chance. It's the Twins so close to capitalizing on the counter. A huge collision. I'm not sure Hepner saw it coming. From the MMJHL's leading point getter in Gorchinski, as Canoe flips that onto the Riels net, covered up by O'Sullivan. Face-off draw coming up inside the Riels, and nifty play off the face-off draw by Jace Matthews to get by that shot, unable to get through from the point. As the Riels get this back, working a D-to-D, turned over into the possession of Canoe for a moment, sent in by Caligari behind the net for the Riels as they work this D-to-D. Nice forecheck by Canoe as Neufeld in on the forecheck as well. Jace Matthews gets a stick in the lane there to deny this breakout pass. Lays the body afterwards. That's sent in. It's called for an offside. So it'll be Nathan Brzezinski to take the draw. Loses this. Played up to Hedlund. Bachnak able to take it away, though. Feeds this over to Sukic. Sukic tries to unload a shot, gets it away the second time, but that goes wide of the net at the point. That shot tipped from the slot by Brzezinski, but taken out and broken out by the Riels. Sukic challenging in the neutral zone, though, right at center ice. This gets loose to Cole Davis, who sends this in deep. Brzezinski unable to get to it first there as the Twins able to make this out. Nice pass up ice to Lizotte down the right side. Lizotte now into the Riels zone, spun and knocked off the puck. That shot from Medwick turned aside by O'Sullivan on a sharp angle. Johnson gets this free to Hedlund now into the glove of Lizotte as the Twins look to set things up. Backdoor scores! It's Sam Matani who activates into the zone, pinching up to get open back door. The Riels didn't see it coming. And now they trail by a score of 2-1. It's a nice heads-up feed by Lizotte. Finding Matani, who no one even near him backdoor, and O'Sullivan completely fooled on the play. That goal brought to you by Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As Matani regains the lead for his Fort Garry Twins as they started off 1-0. Let's see if they can hold it for longer this time around. It's, by the way, number 5 for this Fort Garry Twins team. It's not on the game sheet over here that is at the front at Southdale Arena, as this all the way down to the Twin zone. No icing called on the play. Wearing number 5 for Fort Garry. Load it up here. Get back to the play. We'll get you that update later on, I guess. It's not even on the website's roster for the game sheet as Cockrell down low. Physical play as now Davis loses his balance. This rimmed around but held in at Reyes at the point. That quick shot off the noggin of Matani as he blocks it up. Two-hander in the back of Davis, but Davis fends that off well. Gets it down low to Cockrell. Tries to feed it out in front. Back to Davis or either Melstead. Had both of them in that area as Cockrell continues to battle. The Twins able to rim this out successfully this time as Reyes blows the tire, turns it over to Balshaw, over to Gorchinski, his shot scores! Another quick strike from this Twins team on the counterattack, taking advantage of a blown tire from Kalen Reyes. A short little turnover there from number 44, and this top line, Balshaw may be forgotten about sometimes, given the years that Halamandaris and Gorchinski have had, both top 2 in the league in points. It's nice awareness, great feed from Balshaw to find a wide open Gorchinski. He's now closer and closer to that 90-point mark, I believe at point 89 now, as he had 88 heading into this game. That goal, another one, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Jace Matthews skates up with speed, kicks this out to Neufeld, tries getting it through Matthews again, but that blocked up by the skate of Keaton, who rims this all the way around for Lambert. The Riels with their work cut out for them, just over halfway gone into this period. They're down by 2. Usually a team that outshoots their opponent by quite a bit. Well, so far, shots 10-2 in favor of the Twins in this game. As this turned over in the Riels zone, they're able to get it back. This flipped up in the neutral zone, batted in at the Twins' blue line by Trott. So it's Liam Foley who wears number 5, by the way, for this Fort Garry Twins team. Nice poke check by Neufeld to pickpocket Noah Keating. as Neufeld gets it back along the boards. Pass through the skates. Number 15 and Dominico, but Hedlund, after getting that pass, got knocked off the puck. So it's the Riels who work this in. That puck sent wide of the net. Off the backboards, Crossland on the forward check. It's Bertschinger has that puck, get past him off the boards. That blocked up into the shin pad of Hedlund. Created, of course, the first goal of this matchup. A physical play along the boards. Sends down, where's number 14 for this Riels team? And Cashton Long. As this played up, Reef Sukit has Brzezinski lost a handle on the puck as he tried to delay up. Pass across, intercepted by Medwick. That pass out, deflected by Davis, but eventually gets over to Lizotte. That backhand flip over across successfully to Calgary, puts on the brakes as he goes cross ice to Helamandaris. Back to to Liam Foley, as Foley fending off the check-in of Reef Sukit. 6:28 remaining in this period of action. Puck through both defensemen at that blue line, trying to hold for the Riels as Kalen Reyes with a bit of trouble. Kind of runs into his teammate as the Twins work this back again. That short pass over Helamandaris. That shot turned aside by O'Sullivan. Rebound picked up and skated up by Brzezinski as he tries to fend off the check-in of Belshaw, but a good back check from number 11. He's able to get back to force that turnover. The Twins work it up again. This top line back out. Gorchinski. A little shimmy shake along the boards. Now spinning away off that check from Reyes into the high slot for a Lurkin Johnson, who tried to jump up in the play but has that knocked away by Reyes. The Twins to defend this stretch pass now, which was defended well by number 11 in Belshaw. As Hepner skates this up now. Hepner trying to dangle through, but a nice shutdown by the stick of Matani. Hepner gets tangled up with Matani down low. This puck just ends up out of the Twins' end with 5:21 remaining. It's the Riels to control it. Melstead, short little pass over to Davis. Disrupted through hitting some equipment on the way through. So the Riels have to backtrack and send it in deep again, but it's defended well by Fort Garry as Matani gets taken out by Melstead. Jace Matthews flips this up, trying to get a step on Miller, loses his balance as he ran into Miller, as Miller lost his balance before Matthews did. Cockrell gets hit along the boards quite hard there by Matani. As Cockrell back on and checked again by Matani, as Matani it's going to be the Riels who go to the penalty kill. It's tied up with Matani. Over top of him is Cockerell. It's number 27 heading to the box with 4:31 remaining. In this first period of action. For the Fort Garry Twins this season, their power play pretty good. Second in the league at 21.2. The Riels more than ever needing to kill with the first-ranked power play in the league at 88.4%. This draw won by the Twins and controlled. Triangle up top as played to that left face-off circle for Gorchinski. As Johnson gets it back over to Helamandaris, sends it to the net. Nice blocker save through the traffic there by O'Sullivan. Medwick battling with Dominico in front of the net. This pass across ends up getting to Belshaw. Up top, sends it across to Johnson, to Gorchinski. Gorchinski back up top to Helamandaris. Helamandaris has to regroup to get this. Almost out of the zone is Melstead now taken out in front. Another penalty coming from this Riels side. As with that, we're going to go to a 5-on-3. Medwick and Dominico were battling in front of the Riels goal. Medwick already lost his footing in front of there before that happened. And the refs catch it a second time, so it'll be Connor Davis, the lone forward out there for this Riels squad, to take the draw. The top power play unit still remains out for this Twins team. Brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Over to Halamandaris. Looked to unload, but didn't like the pass. Wanted a better one. Johnson has that taken away as it's sticked away and sent down by Hepner. Was out of his own net to play it and leave it as Jackson McLeod. It's Johnson who's going to go for a skate through the neutral zone. Down the right side, delays up now, drops us back to Halamandaris. Quickly across to Medwick as Medwick at the left point. Sends it back across to Johnson. To the high slot to Halamandaris to Johnson. Johnson now tries going back in front. That loose puck gets to Halamandaris again off of a Riels stick across to Balshaw. Back up top to Halamandaris. That shot through, but a nice glove save. Great concentration from O'Sullivan. With 33 seconds remaining on the Avon Cockerell penalty, meaning we'll be going back to a 5-on-4 very soon here. Face-off draw won by this Twins team again. Gorchinski's cross-ice pass no further than to Halamandaris as it was disrupted. Halamandaris works this down low to Gorchinski, who circled all the way back to that corner. Gorchinski now taking it back to the other side of the ice, closest to our broadcast angle, and back down low again. One-timer blast denied there by O'Sullivan. Twins get it back, turn it over though, and that's sent down all the way by the Riels as we'll be back to a 5-on-4 now for the next 38 seconds. What a chance there from Fort Garry, looking dangerous on this power play. So Sullivan stepping up big time. Top 3 in the league in wins. Heading into this matchup, the Riels get it back again. Nice work as that sent all the way on net for a shot on McLeod. Trot almost takes that away. Trot takes it away here though in the high slot. It gets to Melstead now. Loose puck there, denied by number 30 in McLeod. Is that all the way down almost into the Riels end. They cut it off just before that blue line and get it back. We're back to even strength. It's the Riels work this all the way in deep. McLeod thought about playing that, but just left it for his teammate. Now has it in Voth. Another nice stick off of that breakout pass attempt by the Riels. It's Melstead who got a stick in the lane that time as he remains out there, covering his man at center ice, and Lazat for a moment before getting back into his own end, getting set up as this team goes for a breakout. Lambert has that stripped away. Delayed offside. No, it's not called on the play. The Twins just getting onside to allow for them to attack again. Neufeld finishes check down low. Nice defense there by Canoe on what would have been a potential breakaway chance for this Riels team off that stretch pass. So we're into the final minute of play here in this first period of action. That shot out of play. With the face-off coming up inside the Twin zone. Won by Fort Garry, but no, it's St. Boniface who wins it. Suka, did he ring that off the post? I thought for sure the Twins ended up winning that draw, but what a play from Brzezinski. We see many players try it often in this league, but often find little to no success. Brzezinski that time able to slide his way through Halamandaris and feed a nice feed over to Sukat, who's just denied in front. Sukat at the half wall. Only goal scorer so far here today, and the only goal that St. Boniface has. It's held in at the point by Keating. Puck picked up by Cole Davis, who tries to send that down deep into the opposite corner for Sukat, but that was intercepted. It's the Twins. Maybe one last chance to work this into the Riels zone for a scoring opportunity, but they won't be able to. It's the Riels who are able to get this in deep. Sukat in the corner, tries firing out in front, but that disrupted. 4 seconds remaining. Down low this goes. Sukat tries to bank it in off of McLeod, but McLeod hugged that right post well enough to send this game to its first intermission with a 2-goal lead for the league-leading Fort Garry Twins as they're up 3-1. Was a period from them where we'll take you through the scoring here before we let you go, before we show you some highlights and get ready for the second period. Shots 14-5 in favor of Fort Garry after that first period. And the goal scorers, it started off with, well, I thought it was Lazard who put it in the net. The website says it's Hedlund. Sukit would tie things up shortly after. And then it would be Sam Matani burying a wide open backdoor glorious chance that he put himself in good position. Put in the back of the net. Passed by Lazard. Sorry, it was Darian Medwick who scored the first goal, not Hedlund. Hedlund ended up assisting. It wasn't Lazard who scored that first goal either, like I just said. But, yeah, a lot's happened since that first goal, of course. 3 goals afterwards, 1 coming from the Riels, 2 from the Twins. Matani with his 11th of the season, make it 2-1. And then Dean Gorczynski, a goal away from 30 goals now, with his 29th of the year, assisted by David Balshaw off of a glorious feed from him. Secondary assist going to Matani as well on that play. We'll be back for more after this first period set of highlights from some of the other live streams we've been doing the past few weeks, the past few months here on your home for hockey in Manitoba at the amateur level or the U22 level, however you want to refer to it. We'll have some analysis from around this first period coming up next year in a game where the league-leading Fort Garry Twins up nicely after the first, but plenty of work still to do to put away a Riels team that, well, finished off that period strong, pressed them quite well. Do we see the Riels come out with a lot of jump coming in to the next period? Well, we'll find out coming up shortly here from Southdale Arena. And this first period brought to you by Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Be sure to visit their website at kencentralsportscards.com, as well as checking out their only store location here in the city of Winnipeg at 995 Miltz-Eagle Drive.
And live from Niverville, Manitoba, on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca, it's a Friday night presentation of MFHL Game Day here on your home for MFHL Hockey. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator for tonight's action, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. We're brought to you by McKen Fasteners and Tools, Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico, and Goaltenders. Down below the goal line now. Behind the net, occupied by Almeida, banks it up the boards, up to the point to Vaderigo, back to Scott Cook, nice pass, gets to Maya Grenier, who's denied by Almeida, another save by number 35, now it's behind her, no, behind the net, and it's up to Chloe Carrier, but she fans on the shot there. This picked up by Beavis, but she has her pocket pick, this onto the stick of Rio Pierre, she's able to angle pass, what a move by number 9 on the backhand, oh, loses it on the forehand. As she was named an all-star in the Female World Sports School Challenge. What a save by Labossiere, sticking out that right pad. As this ends up towards the close sports to our broadcast angle. Wozni knocks Beavis to the ice. That turned aside by Labossiere. Another save made. This played up to Chloe Carrier. Now back across to Isabella Carrier. Denied by Almeida. Top 3, maybe top 5 at the least. And Delaney Rigo, oh, bar out she goes. So close to opening up the scoring. Thought that might have hit the inside of the bar, but it didn't. As whacking away is Isabelle Labossiere. That tipped in, scores! It's the Eastman Selects who open up the scoring here tonight on home ice. As it's a great return to the lineup for Maya Grenier. She's the one who redirects it home. Sends it to the net. Paddling that to the end boards was Almeida. Losing her balance and on her stomach right now. A short read to the low slot. Grenier looking for a second. Whacks away at a rebound. But turned away by Almeida to take that away from Heidinger. But Heidinger able to get it back and squeezes by the Avers defense. Sent towards the loose puck there, denying Kennedy Carey on the doorstep was Almeida.
Furthest away from our broadcast angle, Eastman able to get it back. That shot turned aside by Almeida with 12 seconds remaining on the Eastman Grill advantage. Back up to Haas. That shot wide of the net. Almost off of Almeida. Inbound scores. Is that Maya Grenier again? I believe it is. As number 9 strikes twice here, this time on the Eastman power play. Is this? It'll be held in the Avro zone by Callie Remiller at the point to Scott Cook in the slot, turned aside by the pad of Almeida. It got it to Grenier, who played it to the slot, but that pass misfired. It's worked up by the Avros now. Pierre with the step, dangling in, trying to tug backhand, but Labossiere denying with that left pad. Picked up by Dixon, plays it to the point as Eastman gets the cycle going. Tipton scores! Grenier completes the hat trick! As Eastman goes up 3-0. What a moment for number 9 in a return to the lineup. And as this game's gone along, so how do you find another gear in their game? That's what the Avros are searching for. Another good deflection in front for the Selects, denied by Almeida. Beavis now goes down low below the goal line in the Avro zone. Reverses this down to Isabella. Carey tries going to the point, but that pass to Hawes got deflected in front, scores! It's Caitlin Schroeder, rewarded for her hard work tonight with a redirection on the power play into the back of the net to beat Adriana Almeida. Assist to Scott Cook, plays that to the slot, into the feet of Eidinger, whacks away at it, another whack turned aside by Almeida, back into the slot now, to the point to Chloe Carey, her shot through, rebound into the backboards, that turned aside by Almeida again. Winnipeg, the Avros looking to bounce back tomorrow by the looks of it. So they'll be going into the loss column, maybe in this one, still some time left as Speechley powers away through, denied by Labossiere. Trying to get a favorable bounce, but the Selects able to get a stick in the lane. Picked up by the Avros, tipped on that rebound there, but nice job by Lexi Remillard to get a stick in the grill of Liberty Amy. But the Selects sure know how to frustrate this offensive juggernaut in the Winnipeg Avros. 2 shutouts against them this season to win the season 3-1. It's the top offensive team in the league shut down tonight. A signature win from the Eastman Selects.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, The Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
Welcome back into Southdale Arena, MMJHL fans, for the upcoming second period of action in this highly touted contest heading into this Sunday afternoon. In the MMJHL Sunday action between the St. Boniface Riels, the home side, and the visitors in the Fort Garry Twins. Fort Garry coming into this matchup as the number one team in the league, and they haven't missed a beat here so far through the first 20 minutes of this one. Currently up by a score of 3-1. We'll take you through how that first period ended up going one more time. As it started off with the Twins opening up the scoring. It was Darian Medwick who scored. The website has it as Caden Hedlund, but it was Medwick who put it away in the slot, unless somehow Hedlund ended up getting a tip on it. But after that, it would be Reeves Sukut, 49 seconds later, sending home a laser beam past starting goaltender today for the Fort Garry Twins and Jackson McLeod. But the Twins would continue to work as the period went along. Outshot the Riels 14-5. And it would be Sam Matani putting home a backdoor feed from Matt Lizotte. A beautiful look there from number 19 and number 20 for Matani's 11th of the season. And then Dean Gorchinski, the league's leading point getter, putting home his 29th of the season off of a nifty feed from David Balshaw. To get to where we're at in the scoring so far, only 2 penalties have been taken so far, both to the Riels. And yeah, this of course not the only game, but I'd say the most anticipated game on this Sunday is the one that we're calling here this afternoon from Southdale. But plenty of other action going on in the league right now, where, yeah, we've seen some big scores reported so far. One in particular, well, I'd say the biggest score only reported so far is Transcona up 8-0 with 10:10 remaining in the third period to play. They're bouncing back big time after losing 6-3 on Friday night against the Charleswood Hawks. As for Charleswood, they're going to be in action tonight in Stonewall at 8 p.m. at the Stonewall Veterans Memorial Complex. As for the other matchups here, the St. James Junior Canucks, fresh off of a win to snap a losing streak for themselves, leading the Raiders Junior Hockey Club 2-1 right now at Seven Oaks Arena. And as for the St. Vital Junior Victorias, they got Pembina Valley at home after 40 minutes there. Rubini and Elliott with the goals to make it 2-1 for this Vicks team to open up the scoring in that first period, up 2-0 heading into the second intermission, where Pembina Valley, a goal from Lazarenko, a former St. Boniface Riel, ended up putting it in the back of the net to cut the lead in half there for St. Vital this afternoon. But as for the standings as we take a look at it here, it's a 45-game season, and the Transcona Railer Express have also played 41 games, have them at 40 for some reason. But yeah, all teams with 4 games left in the season heading into today, 3 games left only coming up. Moving forward into the final last weeks of the regular season. As for the stats leaders, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, we're getting a look at, well, 3 players that are all in the top 3 of points in the league this afternoon, in Gorchinski, Alamandaris, and Davis. For Gorchinski, a point away now from point number 90, and also a goal away from goal number 30. Keegan Gordon extended his record to 23 wins, 7 regular time losses, and one extra time loss on Friday against Transcona. O'Sullivan, of course, looking to improve to 16-5 on the season if his team's able to come away with a victory this afternoon. And Alex Paul's not going to be having a chance to get win number 20 today as he gets the day off. Jackson McLeod in net for Fort Garry. As for the goals leaders, as we can see it here, Carter Halamandaris leads the league in goals, but Gorchinski is creeping behind now, as we can see, at 29 goals, moving up from 28 to 29. As for Turner, he's now at 31 goals, same with Tyler Rubini. As for the assist leaders here in the league, Halamandaris still at 49. Connor Davis sits in the top three, and Gorchinski, of course, with the most here in the league. Our stats brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store, and our proud first period sponsor, as always, here on this Sunday afternoon edition of MMJHL Game Day. As for these teams heading into today's matchup, didn't have a chance to get to the keys to the game, but the Twins' outlook, looking for their 13th straight win. They're looking to go 13 straight. They've been winning in different ways, though, like on Friday, able to win by a score of 7-4 over the Raiders. They've had a chance to dominate teams in games and also winning close ones. They've also, well, you know, the ones where they've lost, they haven't lost in regulation since back in early December. So this team's been a model of consistency. In their last 10 games, they're 10-0, right? And just prepare to work for today's matchup. That was probably my biggest advice, as this Riels team is going to come at you, and they're going to come at you hard. But I found throughout that first period for this Fort Garry Twins team a lot of quick outs out of their own end. They didn't allow for the Riels, as that period rolled along, to spend too much time in their own end. And when the Riels were getting good offensive zone time throughout that period, the Twins doing a very good job of keeping them to the outside, getting into lanes, blocking shots, and that counterattack has just been so deadly so far for this Fort Garry team that has excelled all season long at that specific part of their game, in terms of once they're able to break out with success and get to their speed game and set something up on the attack, it's very hard to stop this team, as we've seen so far this afternoon. As for the home side, in the St. Boniface Riels, looking to bounce back this afternoon, and it hasn't started so well for this team. Reason I'm saying they're looking to bounce back, of course, they led the St. Vital Victorias by a score of 2-0 at one point. Looking back at it, actually, just want to confirm it, against St. Vital, as St. Boniface makes their way back out onto the ice to prepare for battle in this period. But yes, back on Thursday in that game against St. Vital, they held a 2-0 lead and ended up letting it slip away. So looking for a full 60 today. They haven't quite gotten it, but credit where credit's due to this Fort Garry Twins team. They've matched the Riels speed, which you could argue one of the fastest teams, if not the fastest teams in the league, to start off this game here this afternoon. And Fort Garry just finding ways to succeed in tight in front of the Riels goal, which has been a struggle for a lot of teams this season. As we're into the second period of action now, which will be brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry, and to goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. Sure to check out their website at GordieThomasonGoalies.ca for more info today on what they do, as it's the Riels who look to break out of their own end early here, as Davis off the boards has that cut off by Matani. His shot turned aside by O'Sullivan, as that whacked into the piping near the roofing here at Southdale Arena. For O'Sullivan, I mean, that backdoor feed to Matani that he put in backdoor was pretty much unstoppable in that first period for the second goal. And of course, the top line that gets a tip on net. It's not the top line, but this line of Hedlund, Lizotte, and Medwick to start things off. But for this Twins team, their top line also making it almost impossible for O'Sullivan to stop that 2-on-1 chance that Gorchinski put away to put them up 3-1. It was a pass that just faked out O'Sullivan and the Riels defense to open up a wide open cage. As O'Sullivan, that a nice save in tight to get a right arm on it, a blocker save perhaps. So it's Brzezinski who gets this up to a pinch in Boknak, but turned over onto the stick of Lizotte. Lizotte dangles through, can't quite get past number 15 there in Domenico, as Zachary Domenico, the good defensive stick, is out to play it out of his own crease. Now O'Sullivan, that played up to Cole Davis, deflected into the equipment of a Fort Garry Twins player. Puck ends up all the way back down into the Riels end as the Twins get a line change. So do the Riels. Sukit into the zone. Passes across to Brzezinski as Brzezinski finds Sukit again. Gets this to the point to Hepner, who just sends this in deep. The Riels trying to get in on the forecheck. Caligari cuts off the pass down low. As this played up to Halamandaris now into the Riel zone. Spins away from the check-in before sending it down low to Gorchinski. Gorchinski behind the net. Backhand flip pass out. The number 5 in Foley goes back to Halamandaris, whose shot goes wide of the net. Ends up to Matani at the opposite point, who's Matani's shot. Caligari ends up going wide of the net. It's down low for Hepner now for the Riels as they look to break out. Hepner looked like he was going to skate it out, but decided to feed it up to Davis instead. Ended up going to Melstead, who's now deep down low into the Fort Garry end. Cockrell gets a stick on this. Tries to get a pass to Davis into the slot. Now Cockrell has it near the point. Tried to send it down low, but blocked up by the Twins into the neutral zone. This over to Balshaw. Balshaw drags and fires before send that off the stick of Riel wide of the net. Caligari now at the point. A huge block by Hepner to get in the lane off the backboards. O'Sullivan covers things up. Got a stoppage in play with 17:16 remaining. It's Jace Matthews in to take the draw. Scoring off against Dubois as Dubois and Jace Matthews both tangle up with each other. Draw one by this Riel squad. So it's sent out into the neutral zone. It's onto the stick of Canoe as Canoe tries to poke this up. Can't quite do it. As the Twins look to break out from their own end now. Trot coming across to try to finish a check. It's over onto the stick of Dubois, who sends it down low. As Noah Ref gets taken out now as Voth coming into defense for his teammate and Matthews, who was taken down by Riel into the boards by Dubois. Luckily the referee okay as well. So we'll stay at even strength here. Carson Dubois against Matthews on the draw. Won by the Riels. That shot turned aside off of a block. A Boknak's teammate in Dubois. Never got through to them now. Dubois tries to lay a huge check there along the boards by Neufeld, but ends up missing him. Flipped into the neutral zone all the way back down for this Riels team. They get onside, went to attack. This back in the neutral zone, tipped in now through the legs of Dubois, who loses his stick. Penalty called on the play as Matani, two hands, a Riel in the head is going at it. Domenico with Matani. It's both split up right away. It's going to be 2 minutes for a slash. Sends the Riels to the power play for the first time this afternoon. Brought to you by Terrico, who have been serving Manitoba producers in the agricultural industry, whatever part of the industry it may be, for over 80 years. It's the Riels with the 4th-ranked power play, heading into their first of the game, 20%, right on the nose, going up against the 3rd-best penalty kill for Fort Garry at 85.7%. Is played up to the point. Hepner across Davis. He fires that, blocked up by Hedlund. Trott recovers. And then quickly out to Davis. That shot off the side of the net. Unable to register on net for a shot. Held in by the glove of Hepner. Quickly back to Davis, who goes even quicker back to Hepner. Across to Cockrell. Finds a man down low, and Davis, who circles back up to Hepner. That shot wide of the net, off the boards, trying to get a fortunate bounce, but nothing doing there for St. Boniface. They got to regroup in the corner. Now they do, dangling to the net. Oh, what a move by Trott, but denied. High stick. Waved off. Hepner surveys options now. That pass ends up being banked down low to Trott. Quickly over to Davis. Up top to Hepner. Clinic right now from this Riels squad. Avon Cockrell tries to shoot. That through, scores! It's Trott who picks up the loose trash. And this 3-2 lead, or 3-1 lead, now cut to 3-2. Phenomenal puck movement on this power play from the Riels, and urgency, quick. They know that Fort Garry is going to be aggressive, keeping their gaps as tight as they can on the penalty kill. Some nice work from Davis, as well as Hepner. Up at the point for Hepner. A bit further on in that sequence, decides to whip it down low over to Trott. Gets into the opposite corner. The Riels able to work their way towards the net. Able to work it up top again in the zone as a delay penalty coming up here. As for the Fort Garry Twins, they'll be going to a man advantage. 2 minutes for a trip. But getting back to that goal that was brought to you by Terrico. It's the Riels who, in the slot, putting it home after phenomenal puck movement on their power play. Matthew Trott. 14:58 remaining on the clock now. It'll be Reeve Sukit who goes to the box, setting things up for the Twins. Try to answer back to regain a 2-goal lead on the power play for themselves. So we leave Terrico on the screen. It's the Twins. That shot turned aside by O'Sullivan. They entered into the zone quickly. That sent all the way down by St. Boniface. His first on at Halamandaris. Goes across to Johnson, but has that taken away. Melstead now tries to send that in deep along the right side in the Twins zone as the Twins drop this back, trying to find some space to work this out. Penalty coming up, and who will it be to? The Twins. Ethan Johnson. Looked like he was just trying to get loose away from the Riel, ends up drawing that penalty. And if no penalty is called there, the Twins have numbers, plenty of them, heading down to attack on the Riels. So we're going to go to 4-on-4. This for 2 minutes, or for 4 minutes. So we're back to even strength. For the time being at 4-on-4, it'll be a Riels power play for 2 minutes afterwards, though. So they'll have to get back on that man advantage after what just transpired for them. As Cockrell sends this to Brzezinski. Brzezinski weaving up to the top of the zone. That shot deflects. Rebound there off the backboards for Cockrell, but unable to put it home past McLeod. A gasp from behind me from the St. Boniface crowd. As Cockrell so close to putting that home. Cockrell loses his balance now. No call on the play. So that's just a good battle both those players. Matanian with speed now down the right side for the Twins. Looks to put the moves on Bachnet, but decides to take it around the net instead. That pass all the way out of the zone. Missing for Halamandaris. Heblin off for Livingstone. Matani remains out there as that pass scooped up by Matani off the boards. Matani now cuts to the middle. That shot off of O'Sullivan and into the netting. That might have just been straight out. With 6 seconds remaining here. It's going to be 2 minutes and 40 seconds, actually, of power play time for St. B to work with coming up. Let's see if the Twins can get one more shot here. St. Boniface goes back to the power play. A dangle attempt by Trott, but shut down well by Livingstone on the rush defense. Belshaw tries to do the same thing past Hepner. Belshaw somehow gets it loose. Nice poke check from O'Sullivan as the net goes off its bearings. It was almost a glorious chance there. Well, it was for Belshaw, just O'Sullivan getting the better of him. Not sure how Belshaw exactly got through from past the defense of Hepner in the corner, to be honest with you. I thought Hepner shut him down after shutting down that initial poke check on that toe drag. Or shutting down that initial toe drag with that poke check, as I should say. As it's the Twins on a penalty kill here. 2 minutes, 18 seconds to work with for St. Boniface. If they're able to score here, they get 2 full minutes still to work with. Double the fun. Doesn't look like it'll happen, though. Maybe here. Quick one-timer blast there from Lambert. Goes wide of the net. Now into the last 2 minutes of this PP. This is down low. Brzezinski has it knocked away. Trying to whack it in front was number 19 in Dubois, but great defense from the Twins to be able to clear this all the way down. As fresh set of legs out for everybody on the Twins' end, as it's 5 in together for the Riels. Across to Lambert. It goes down low. Dubois up to Bachnet. That shot high of the net. Loose puck there off of the backboards, or rather trying to whack it in off the backboards were the Riels, but nothing doing. It's the Twins who work in the other way. Neufeld leaves this for Lazat. Lazat tried going back to Neufeld, but couldn't get it there. Sloppy puck movement there by the Riels is turned over into Lazat's possession. Turned aside by O'Sullivan. The minute 11 remaining on the Riels power play. Great setup from them. Unable to whack it off of the glass, the backboards, off of that missed shot. And look out, this counterattack, it's been strong for Fort Garry in this game before. Strong again on this penalty kill. With just over a minute remaining now. Nice stick by Medwick in the neutral ice there to stick that away from Hepner as he tried to make his way through. Try to gain the Twin zone. Davis sends this across to Hepner now. Hepner along the boards. Almost muscled off the puck by Medwick. Got it down low. It's now rimmed around all the way to Avon Cockerell as Cockerell goes through. Oh, that pass almost connects in front with Trott. Tried to connect with Cole Davis initially. Cockerell, another shot, rebound there, Davis. Oh, what a save by McLeod to rob the captain. With 19 seconds left on the Riels power play and what looked like a sure goal for Davis. The captain snake bit in there. As he remains out, shaking his head and, well, just disappointment. Somehow McLeod coming over to make that save to keep this a 1-goal game, a 1-goal lead for the Riels, or for the Twins. Against the Riels, Toronto, what a goal! He tucks rooftop, but no, the net pushed off. The refs are saying so, no goal. And Trott furious, rightfully so. Gonna try to look back. Just checking who pushes this off. The net must have already been off. It must have been McLeod who just knocks it off because it didn't look like any of the players did. Honestly, that should have been a goal that counted for Trot, to be honest with you. But instead, we're back to even strength here. The Twins getting away out of that penalty kill. Scoreless is turned over at the line. Matani fires this in deep. Matani went down low to Gorchinski. His pass back up, cut off by number 16, and Bertschinger is penalty drawn here. Behind the play. So it'll be Kalen Reyes going to the box. It's interesting. Given that O'Sullivan was making his way towards the bench, it's Gorchinski who's going to go as well. So they're taking both now. So set up a 4-on-4 opportunity for both these teams. Coincidentals to Gorchinski and Reyes. Draw one by the Twins as it's back to Matani. Matani over to Balshaw. The Riels looked like they had tied this game up. Two players collide in their own end. In the Riels end, that is, as Bachnet sends that across to Cockrell. That cut off and skated up now by Matani. Passes to Balshaw. Across to Johnson, but Johnson has that poked away by number 96, the captain, in Connor Davis. This pass across to Bachnet now. As Bachnet, his pass into the neutral zone for Cockrell. Misses him. Laid the body on Matani afterwards. In the neutral zone, as you just saw. As Davis kicks this out wide. Goes to Bachnet. Bachnet back up the left side to Davis. As Davis sends towards the net. Trying to go backdoor for Bachnet. Or no, for Cockrell, sorry. Just couldn't find number 27 as Matani drops this back to Balshaw. Glove save made by O'Sullivan. With 8:45 remaining in this period. With the face-off draw in the Riels end, won by St. Boniface as it's Hepner takes it around his own net. Before going to Brzezinski. Nice move by Brzezinski, but couldn't catch up to the second one. And just upon entry. No offside call on the play here as the Riels were all cleared by call of the refs, saying that they all got onside. Brzezinski settled the net, trying to tuck this home, losing the puck. There was number 89, couldn't hold on to it. Nice defensive play by the Twins. They'll have to defend well again as Sukit comes in with speed, puts on the brakes, and circles this back down low into the slot. That pass to nobody. There's nobody quite there for the Riels as Hepner recovers this in his own end. Trying to put the moves on Medwick to evade the pressure. As now he gets into the Twin zone. Hepner fires this around the ice hard. Goes to Reeve Sukit. We're officially back. The 5-on-5 play. It's the 4-on-4 over. McLeod out of his own net to leave this for Livingstone. Pass D to Voth. Voth goes right back to Livingstone. Livingstone chips up the boards to Medwick, who sends this out. Lambert scoops it up. In the neutral end of the ice, which was the middle, is Gorchinski. Made a nice move in his own end before skating into neutral zone. Quickly retrieves back into his own end. What a clinic put on by Gorchinski right now. But getting the last laugh would be Dubois. That pass hitting number 19 skate as he carried it back into the Twin zone. Puck sent in to the Riels end now. As this flipped just out of their own end. Diving to try to get to that puck was Dubois. Near center ice, picked up by Lambert, sends that in deep opposite corner for Trot. He fends off the check-in. Trot down low. This goes to Lambert. Lambert gets cut off the puck there by Voth. Down low, The Riels still with possession of it. That's Brody Melstead. Gets knocked off the puck. Twins get possession of it, play it cross ice onto the stick of Gorchinski. Tired, Gorchinski just decides to send this in just before the blue line. We're going off for a line change. Lizotte lays the body on Lambert along the close boards. Gloved down by Bachnet and sent all the way out. This stays in. So it'll be Liam Foley first one on it. That stretch pass off the stick of Neufeld all the way out. Past the red line, it was deflected, so no icing called on the play. The Riels first one's back on it. So with 6 minutes, just under that now left in this period, the Riels work this out into the shin pad of Caligari as he blocked it up. As Dylan Bachnet gets involved. Steps up in the neutral zone just past the blue line as it got sent back into the Riels end. The stick of Melstead off the boards and out, or off the glass rather, and out, scooped up. A cutoff by Liam Foley in his own end. Foley trying to spin away from the check-in of a Riel on the forecheck. That's Cockrell. Gets this loose to Davis, who got it up to the point. As that shot turned aside, a heavy blast from Dominico, turned aside by McLeod. It'll be Caligari, works this back to Liam Foley. Foley just past the red line. That pass went off the stick. Down low by Neufeld. We're into 5 minutes remaining here coming up in the second period. Melstead cut off. 2 players converged on him upon entry into the Twin zone. Hepner gets a pass over to Davis. Davis off the glass and down deep into the Twins end now. So it'll be Crossland, first one on it. Has that taken away. It's up to Balshaw. Balshaw over to Canoe as Canoe tried to bat it down, but couldn't catch up to it afterwards as Kalen Reynolds played it quickly cross ice and out. Crossland gets this in deep, no offside on the play. So it's called off by the referees. It's Crossland. Keeps this down low, cut off by Matani. Matani off the boards. He goes up to Balshaw. Balshaw almost muscle out along the boards there by Dubois as the Riels dump this right back in. McLeod out of his own net to leave this for number 6, and Johnson almost loses his balance there. Sukit converges on him. Now a real pickpocket in front as Davis can't send that on net. Goes wide of it. Slow to get up. The Riels almost hold this in at the line instead. This gets through. Gorchinski to Halmanderis. Back to Gorchinski again to Halmanderis. Scores! And in a sequence that had many changes in its story, it ends off with the Fort Garry Twins putting into the back of the net. It was like a hot potato out there with Gorchinski and Halmanderis playing give and go with each other multiple times. And that last pass that Gorchinski gets over to Halmanderis, just like the one that allowed for the Twins to enter into the zone. Halmanderis had to reach over to scoop it up and spins around in the slot on that last pass to send it home past number 31 and Michael O'Sullivan to retake the 2-goal lead for this Fort Garry Twins side. That goal brought to you by Terrico. It's Halmanderis' 33rd goal of the season. This off the backboard to Lizotte. Tries playing that towards the net. Couldn't get it through. Medwick shot from the slot, blocked up by Riel with 3:03 remaining now on the clock. The Riels look to work this out. It's skated up by Sukit. He has his pocket picked by Medwick. Now intercepted by Lizotte with a pass in the neutral zone. That into the skates of Hedlund. Spins around to recover. That shot gloved down by O'Sullivan and turned aside. Covered up. For 2:47 remaining in this period. 19-13 the shots in favor of Fort Garry. 4-2 they lead on the scoreboard. Their top line played a huge part in this matchup here tonight, or this afternoon. As Cockrell gets tripped down there, no call on the play. So the referees felt it was a bit too weak, and you have to tend to agree with that there. As that Canoe pasted along the boards. It's loose to Matthews. Matthews across to Liam Foley. Foley takes a bump there from Dominico along the Twins bench. As this flipped cross ice now, trying to skate his way past his Cockrell, but gets shut down by Jace Matthews. Allows for Caligari to get this puck up to Canoe, who Canoe loses his balance, tried to kick that puck out, but couldn't. So it was finally out for the Twins, but right back in for the Riels as this sent in deep. Lazarenko tries to lay the body, and he did on Caligari, but Caligari still able to get an outlet pass out as this cross-ice pass all the way down into the Riels end after going off of the boards. Now Neufeld, hard forecheck with a good body check in the corner to force a turnover. Now Riel get taken out. That's Reyes who gets his stick caught. Ends up getting spun around. Draws the penalty in the process with 1:30 remaining in this period. So the Riels, their second goal of the game came on the power play in this period. They're looking for the same here. 1:30 to work with. As this is brought to you by Terrico. Great puck movement displayed on a power play early on. But it's the top 2-point getters in the MFHL looking to work more magic. Gorchinski denied by O'Sullivan. It's a great save there from number 31. A chance, I'm sure, number 7 is kicking himself over not burying. What a statement that would have been from this top duo. Is Halamandaris able to whack that all the way out with under a minute remaining now in this period. First one back on it, Dylan Bachnecht behind his own net. Not being pressured too heavily here. Makes a dangle pass Balshaw before sending it up to Reeve Sukut, who sends it all the way down into the Twin zone. Riels get on the forecheck. It's Dubois, who forces some indecision from Fort Garry down low. Held in at the point by Bachnecht. Rebound there! Barzinski can't put it away as that hopped up on him as it's passed up to Balshaw. That shot scores! A shorty for Balshaw! What a rip! 5-2 Twins lead with 23.5 remaining here in this second frame. Well, it's been said before and I'll say it here. It's a game of inches, and a game of inches deciding the fate of that last goal. As for the St. Boniface Riels, they're able to get it in tight on that power play against that Twins defense. A rebound is there, and Brzezinski whacks away at it, but it hops over his stick. The Twins are able to recover right away. Balshaw gets wide open in the neutral zone, stretched onto his stick successfully, as that play towards the net for the Riels goes wide of it. They'll have the power play to start things off, of course, in that third period of action with 31 seconds left on the Neufeld penalty. But that goal that was just scored by Balshaw, brought to you by Terrico. Sure to visit their website at terrico.ca. They've been serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry, but getting back to that Balshaw goal, man, it's somehow able to get snapped right onto his stick. A stretch pass with Fort Garry getting aggressive on the penalty kill, pushing for offense late within the last minute. And Balshaw able to get free, get just enough space for himself. A bit of room for him to take that shot, and he takes advantage as it's a quick one, a hard one, an accurate one. All three contributing factors into that puck making its way past the outstretched glove of Michael O'Sullivan. That second period of action was brought to you by Terrico, as well as goaltender shots after the first 40 minutes of play. 21-14 in favor of the Fort Garry Twins. For St. Boniface in that period, Their goal scorer ended up being Matthew Trott. Some controversy as Trott believed he tied the game, and don't blame him, as well as the rest of this Riels team, for being kind of furious with that one. So the net was called off, so it went back to a 4-2 game, and then Riels go to a power play, but the Twins capitalize shorthanded. Do the Riels have it in them to come back in this game? Down by 3 now, heading in to the final 20 minutes of regulation. With 31 seconds of power play time to work with, we'll have to wait and see to find out coming up soon here on your home for MMJHL Hockey on this edition of MMJHL Game Day, with the league-leading Fort Garry Twins, the current top seed, taking care of business right now. Up 5-2. Most recent goal, shorthanded, scored by David Balshaw. After 40 minutes of play here from Southdale Arena on this Sunday afternoon, everybody. Dial into this first period of action that is about to be underway between the two squads here from the Centennial at St. Vital Centennial Arena. Of course, I'm your play-by-play commentator, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. This is MMJHL Game Day on your home for MMJHL Hockey on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. And him and Rylan Etroduk out of the lineup as Rylan Etroduk still out with injury. Matani trying to dangle through. Number 2 and Philippe loses the puck. That's back into the slot. Big save by Penner. Rebound unable to be put on net there by the Twins. It's down low. Hugan behind the back pass. Medwick denied by that left pad in the slot. It's this play back in neutral zone. Hugan some silky mitts to evade a defender. Gets it back now into the slot for Medwick. Turned aside by Penner again. And a big hit there along the boards by Tyler Rubini. The Victoria zone won by the Twins. Played D-to-D. Off the skates of Caligari, and that he whiffs on it off the board. Says, oh, Devin Superman pass! Denied off that chance was McLeod. So what a pass there, a feed from Blake Lee. Could have been assist of the year. Worthy off the bar. That rings for number 19. His shot just turned aside by Penner as he just gets a piece of it. Back to Halamandaris. He unloads a shot. This time scores. This stacked Fort Garry power play connects, and it didn't take long for them. Only 16 seconds in. He's got his Twins up 1-0. Cross ice to the Leeds point leader in Gorchinski. He dazzles his way through. Rebound, scores. But net off. This one coming back. Cross ice, and there's levels to that attack for this Twins team, like I talked about earlier. It's back Canoe. He tries to shoot that through a screen and on net, but couldn't get it there. As back to Canoe, his shot denied this time. Penner makes another save. Possession on this penalty kill, as we just saw there with them sending it down. The Vics get it back. That cross ice feed catching up to it was Luke Elliott, building speed up that left side. Pass into the slot. Kirkness gets it to the net, scores! Number 9, Tyler Rubini puts home the loose puck. The captain for St. Vital ties this one up at 1 apiece. It's held in at the point, but oh no, turned over off of the blade of Jaquette. 2-on-1 developing. Neufeld, his shot turned aside by Penner. The Vics goaltender continues to stand tall in his crease. Well, it's right back to now off of the end boards. Now looks to go for escape, but intercepted, pickpocketed by Canoe. His shot turned aside by number 29 in Penner as Penner gets aggressive. As mentioned, the one shot earlier on, a heavy one from Carter Halamandaris to open up the score. And maybe here again, Halamandaris in the slot, almost alone. His shot turned aside by Penner this time. That rimmed all the way around to Medwick. Tried to fire that pass towards the net, but couldn't get it there. Willis was taken out by a Twin. Now that to Matani, he's denied. Can't be whacked out by Luke Elliott. Held in by Matani. Instead, into the slot, Halamandaris denied by Penner. By the Twins, and DDD in their own end before working it up towards the net. Balshaw unable to unload on the backhand as Philippe was with him right away. As the Victorias look to work this puck. A bit of patience. First, Gorchinski strips away a man of the puck. Almost gets to it first into the slot. Halamandaris can't get that through on net cleanly. As Hedlund works his way up and the play activated into the slot. Tried to whack that away from Philippe. Now Hedlund gets it. His shot turned aside by Penner in the slot as Hedlund took out hard into the corner. As this turned over high up, Livingstone worked his way in, but couldn't get a shot off. That Losot scores! With all the time in the world to make something happen, and it's Ethan Johnson from behind his own net. Fed it up into the neutral zone. High hit late on Gorchinski. And with that, a hard-fought 2-1 victory as Fort Garry gets themselves, of course, staying in the win column.
Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has been the place to shop for your industrial needs for over 20 years. Carrying the tools you need to get the job done from the brands you can trust, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has you covered. Brands like Milwaukee Tool, established in 1924 and on display in our Milwaukee Red Zone, the largest red zone in Winnipeg. With construction workers and tradespeople in mind, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools is your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. So come on down to our Winnipeg store location today, located on 1557 King Edward Street in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools and Brandon takes pride in selling the tools farmers and tradespeople rely on. Like our Winnipeg location, Brandon carries the same tools you know and love. From all the brands you can trust, all in one convenient place. And with unbeatable service, we'll make sure you get the right tools to get the job done. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools in Brandon, proud to serve Brandon's industrial needs since 2018. Stop on by today at 358 Park Avenue East.
Welcome back to Southdale Arena for this upcoming third period of action between two top three teams here in the MMJHL. In the Fort Garry Twins, the visitors, the first place team in the MMJHL right now, going up against the third seed currently in the St. Boniface Riels here on this Sunday afternoon edition of MMJHL Game Day, live here on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. This upcoming period will be brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. As for the games this afternoon. 3 of them have wrapped up already. This one, of course, the final afternoon to get going this afternoon, as it was the Transcona Railer Express, 69 shots, 9 goals for, and 0 goals against, in a dominant shutout victory over the River East Royal Knights, for Transcona bouncing back big time after that 6-3 loss on Friday night to Charleswood. The St. James Junior Canucks held on 3-2 to defeat the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, as the Raiders now fall for a second time, their second loss in a row to St. James' second win in a row. As for the St. Vital Junior Victorias, their third win in a row now, after defeating the Pembina Valley Twisters 4-1. Elliott, Rubini, Netchwaduk, and Mitchell all with goals in that game for St. Vital. As for this game here, it's It's Medwick, Matani, Gorchinski, Halamandaris, and Balshaw with the goals. Sukit and Trott with the goals for St. Boniface. Charleswood and Stonewall getting set to face off against each other in the final matchup of this Sunday tonight in Stonewall. But as for the standings, how they look, as we'll show you here, St. Boniface looking to keep pace with the teams that, well, they will finish in a top 4 seed. It's just a matter of where, as Transcona now a point over St. Boniface with a win today, getting to 63 points. If St. Boniface loses in regulation, they would head into next week as the 4th place team. And if playoffs were to end off today with St. Boniface being the 4th place team, they'd face off against the St. Vital Junior Victorias in the first round of the MMJHL playoffs. But a bit of frustration in that period for St. Boniface as Matthew Trott, side of the net, picks the corner beautifully past Jackson McLeod, but has it waved off due to the net being off its bearings. It was a pretty close call, to be honest with you, to be made in a situation like that the refs came away with that decision. But it's what the call was and how the call stands, and afterwards, well, Fort Garry, they would end up putting up 2 goals for themselves. One of them shorthanded, of course, by David Balshaw, which ended up being the 5th goal of the game to make it 5-2, late in that second period of action, as both teams has made their way back out onto the ice. It was David Balshaw's 25th of the year, Halamandaris' 33rd of the year, to lead the league in goals, still assisted by Dean Gorchinski on that opportunity that he put into the back of the net on quite the passing play. But we're into this period now, into the 3rd period of action, as it's St. Boniface on the power play, brought to you by Make Cannon Fasteners and Tools. 24 seconds remain on the Neufeld penalty, as St. Boniface, with some great work on the power play in that second period to get their 2nd goal of the game from Trott. Of course, it was his first of the afternoon. Almost had a second there to tie it up, but of course, waved off by the refs as mentioned. Trott, speaking of, ended up tipping that down low, but cleared out by the Fort Garry Twins, and that will effectively end the St. Boniface power play. As goes up, Avon Cockerell sends this in deep. Cut off by Fort Garry, unable to be poked out by Balshaw. That tip just wide of the net there from high in the slot from this Riels team. Down low to Trott, back to Davis. Davis gets it back. Oh, sorry, that was Trott who almost got it back to Davis. Davis now back with it on his stick. Ends up going down low to Sukit. Sukit tries to find Hepner at the point, but pass cut off by the Twins as this banked off the boards all the way down to the Riels end and called for an icing. That a goal which leaves Balshaw stunned a bit as he stopped in his tracks after the whistle was called, staring at the ref. in disbelief that icing was called. Thought he beat it out. Honestly, don't blame the Twins for being frustrated about that one. Looked like the icing was beat out, but wasn't. I guess Riels just getting enough of his stick in front to have that icing called. It's this off the boards and out for Fort Garry. This time a more clear icing. Another face-off draw inside the Twin zone. Brzezinski wins this along the boards. Gets it to Cole Davis. Worked up Wojtowicz. His pass, unable to connect with Brzezinski. Down the other way, it's Balshaw. His shot, a hard one once again. All the way out this goes. And hard enough to rim around to the neutral zone to Sukit, who sends that in deep. Sukit. And another Riel collide with Hedlund down low, as Hedlund, feeling the effects of that one, goes slowly to the bench, hoping that number 24 is okay. That towards the net, that puck bouncing, and now ends up below the goal line. Gorchinski along with Sukit getting tied up with each other. Gorchinski is back on his two skates as this gets rimmed around off the boards. A funny bounce in the favor of the Twins as they're able to bank that out down the right boards. Dominico, first one back in his own zone to cut this off. Gorchinski cuts off at the blue line to hold this in. Tries to protect it around Dominico. Uses his body to shield as Dominico and him collided down low. It's to Neufeld. Back down low to Gorchinski as his pass through the slot ends up not connecting. Hard enough bounce to get all the way back down into the Twin zone. Now it's Livingstone. Shielded and dropped it back to Voth. Played across to Canoe. His cross-ice pass out off the mark of Neufeld. It was bouncing a bit when it got to number 9 stick. Jason Neufeld circles back his own end to pick this up. Neufeld on the backhand. Tries to send it in deep. Can't just before the blue line. Sends this in deep now into the Riels end. Was still 21-14 the shots in favor of Fort Garry. As this chipped in onto the stick of Dubois. Backhand attempt to get that back door to Lambert. Unable to connect with number 2. In a forward position today in the absence of Alex Van Dynes in this lineup. As that stretch pass up at the blue line. Trot somehow able to keep possession of it. His one-hand pass attempt gets cut off by the Twins. And they're able to work this through the neutral zone now. Lizotte dangling his way through, trying to cut through Miller there to get towards the net, but couldn't. In the Riels zone, flipped into the skates of Johnson, now sends this all the way back down to the Riels end. Tried to hit Lizotte with a stretch pass. Reyes, his pass cross ice, way too far. And out of reach for his teammate and Connor Davis to bring the face-off draw into the Riels end. With the line that started the scoring today out in Hedlund, Medwick, and Lizotte. Medwick to take the draw against Melstead. Melstead lost it, but nice forecheck on that puck in the Riels end by Kalen Reyes. Be able to get it out. It's the Twins who work this up to the blue line now. Drop back, that unable to hit Medwick. Cross ice taken out afterwards. No call on the play. It's Melstead who skates this up ice now. Delays upon entry into the offensive zone. Taken out along the boards. And now that puck taken out by Matani. Matani trying to go through the legs to get by, but couldn't get past Reyes. Nice defensive stick and play from number 44. Now it's Melstead working his way into the Twin zone. Couldn't get that pass towards the net. It was blocked up well from this Twin squad. funny bounce off the backboards for the Riels, but glove down by number 77, Dylan Bachnet, who took a whack in the hand. No call there coming up on the play. 77 in some pain heading to the bench. That into the slot! Oh, scores! Thought it might have went off the side of the net, but instead it's in the back of the net. I was getting a clear look at who that was. Number 16 in Aaron Bertschinger. To cut this Fort Garry lead down to 2 now, 5-3 hockey game with plenty of time remaining, 14-13. Our goal brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. One-stop shop for all your industrial needs here in the province of Manitoba when it comes to tools, with store locations in Winnipeg and Brandon. Be sure to check them out today, as well as their website at mccanfasteners.shop. That all the way down for an icing. Is that what the Riels need to get a spark to come back in this game? Of course, at the end of the second period, not only a goal that they gave up shorthanded, but a goal that made it a 3-goal lead for the Twins, and coming with as little time left as it did. The last 30 seconds of the period. For sure is tough sometimes to get back in a game after something like that happens, right? With the momentum that could be built off of that being so drastic. The Riels have stuck with it, though, and they continue to skate. Brzezinski's shot taken away by that glove of McLeod, as this left for Halamandaris, spinning away in his own end before sending it up to Gorchinski, who chipped it off the boards and out. So now Brzezinski again wheeling in. Brzezinski trying to dangle through, but shut down by Voth. As Gorchinski turns this over into the skate of Sukut. Sukut over to Davis, Cole Davis that is, but Davis's pass across ends up being picked off by Balshaw. That cross ice feed out of the reach of Gorchinski, who loses his stick. Might have been Sukut who knocked it out of his hands. As Sukut drops this off, Sukut towards the net. That redirect turned aside by McLeod. So he got that pass back from number 19 and Carson Dubois. Great feet from number 19 to create that chance. Sukut been dangerous all game long, with the goal to tie things up at 1 apiece early in the game, as Canoe doesn't miss by much, just grazes the shoulder of O'Sullivan with that shot. Nice stick by Lambert to knock that down, and he sends that deep into the Twin zone. Cross ice pass over to Neufeld. Neufeld to Matthews, but way out of the reach for number 16 as the Riels get on it first in their own defensive end. They've been the best defensive team all season long, over the course of it at least, with only 90 goals against heading into this matchup. But it's been the Twins who have been able to open things up against this Riels squad. Attacking off the rush. Been able to beat them at points with their speed, their urgency, getting into the prime scoring areas, which the Riels just haven't been able to defend with at the high level that we're usually used to seeing them defend at, right? Also being outshot in this game and having their shots held down to under 20 so far. But with all that being said, they still sit tight in this one as that shot turned aside off the power of McLeod. A dangerous chance from number 66 and Brody Melstead. .11-13 remaining in this period. That's been rolling so far. Bertschinger, the most recent goal scorer, lost that draw as the Twins try to work this out now. Matani plays this up the boards, the right side, but not quite into the Riels. And as the Riels are able to break this up quickly. Nice pass across that towards the net, towards Bertschinger, but off the mark. Now pickpocketed, turned over on that pass into Davis's possession as he fired it wide. Spuckneck, or Cockrell down low, takes out a Twins player, and with that, 2 minutes for tripping coming up.
to this St. Boniface Riels team. Cockrell going to the box. So we'll send Fort Garry onto the man advantage. They've scored special teams wise already today, except not on the power play. Short-handed by David Balshaw. He'll be out there along with Medwick, Gorchinski, Matani, and Halamandaris on a loaded PP1 unit, but a nice clear by what's been the best penalty kill all season long in the league in St. Boniface, or for most of the season, as I should say. Transcona was number one at one point, and as the years gone along, St. Boniface has just grabbed that title of the best penalty kill in the league based off of the percentage they've had, about 88.4%, as Gorchinski at the left point sends this to Balshaw, up top to the middle of the point to Matani, kicked over to Halamandaris. That shot through, turned aside by O'Sullivan as Balshaw races to keep that puck in at the blue line. He does. Gets it to the left face-off circle to Gorchinski. Sends this down low to Medwick, to a wide-open point man in Matani, who's sticking with them all the way, taking away that shooting lane as Dubois. Now Reyes gets tight on Balshaw to force a mispass out of the zone. And with that, the face-off will be all the way down into the Fort Garry end. At St. Boniface, we're getting a look into why they've had such a dominant PK percentage so far this year. It's because the pace they play with, the carries over, they keep good gaps, but they don't seem to most times get sucked into things too easily. They stay composed even though they're able to play those tight gaps, while not being able to be fooled. It's a special mix that they're able to have, that they've been able to display all season long, as well as the effort as Brody Melstead dives out to poke that puck out. With 37 seconds remaining on this Twins man advantage. Halamandaris, his pass, almost out of the reach for Matani. Matani caught up to it. Ended up getting it back to Halamandaris. As Halamandaris robbed out along the right boards by Bachnek. Back glove down by Medwick on the attempted clear by the Riels. Medwick, strong on the puck. Took it around the net before feeding it to Gorchinski. Over to Matani. Matani back up top to Gorchinski. Shields that puck before going up top to Medwick. Medwick, and lows that. It was Matani who fed him the pass. Nice save made by O'Sullivan. We're back to even strength. As another blast, that time from Matani, turned aside by the blocker of O'Sullivan. Loose puck picked up by Melstead now. Flips that in deep before heading off for a change. That's behind his own net, Matani. Holds this to settle it down. Sorry, that was Medwick who gets it over to Matani. Matani fending off a bunch of Riels players before sending that in with a backhand on net. Huge hit from Matani on Reyes. It's the Riels control. Reyes doesn't look like it fazed him too much. Almost gets that cross-ice pass back, but an offside called on the play. Didn't even think Reyes touched it, but the refs thought otherwise. I guess it's not an offside, but a penalty actually. Penalty coming up to Fort Garry. It's Matani. As it's the Riels. You control this down low. That through the skates of Cole Davis out in front. He was a bit too tight into the slot there and tight to the net as Davis works his way back in. 2 minutes for charging called to Matani there. The Riels work this at the point. Cockerell shot unable to get through that block by Balshaw, but the Twins can't flip it out. Hepner controls this along the wall and gets it to Cockerell. Down low to Trott, back to Cockerell. Tries to feed that cross ice, forced it a bit so it was clogged up well. Nice job by Lizotte to take away
That cross ice pass with a good stick. Gave a bit of a whack in the back of the leg to Davis afterwards before going off for a change. A minute remaining left in this power play for St. Boniface with just under 7 left in the game. Nice move by Hepner. Dangle his way into the zone. Drop this off to Sukit. Plays it D to D to Cockrell. Cockrell with patience sends this down low. Now tic-tac-toe. Sukit, his shot turned aside by that block. Number 6 in Johnson, who gets taken out hard into the boards. Sukit for good support. Protects us along the boards. Fends on that pass to Cockrell initially, but does get across ice now. Cockrell got it controlled to Sukit. Back up top to Hepner. Back to Cockrell. That shot once again can't get through a screen as it's Gorchinski who blocks it up this time. 18 seconds remaining on the Riels man advantage now. Cockrell, nice move to get past Gorchinski. Walks in, shot blocked up there by Johnson. Flipped out off the boards onto the stick of Gorchinski as he looks to go one-on-one with Hepner. Keeps this out wide as we are now back to even strength officially. Gorchinski ridden out along the boards there, pinned up by Hepner. It's Bertschinger, the most recent goal scorer, who settles this down along the right side. Flip down low. Matthews, first one to cut it off. Flips it into the neutral zone, into the skates of Lambert. Now taken away by Brzezinski. What a move by Ebern, 89. Or number 89. I couldn't pronounce my word there. It's at the point. Bachneck regrouped back in the zone and sent it across before being sent in by the Riels. Fort Garry controls it, plays across ice to Neufeld. Neufeld now, nice move to the middle. He'll continue down the right side, trying to challenge Bachneck, but circles back instead. That pass to the slot taken away by the Riels and now kicked out to Bachneck, trying to drag through, but stood up well by Livingstone on the good rush defense again from Fort Garry in this game, as Livingstone able to scoop up this loose puck now, sends it off the boards and out off of Riel's stick in Bertschinger, as it's Kalen Reyes who gets it up to number 16. That pass behind Cockrell, but a nice move, a nice reception of the pass by number 27. That worked over to Cashton Long, settles it down up to the point. So this ends up high, right face-off circle to Bertschinger, whose shot ends up wide of the net. Had a piece on the way through. Cashton Long feeds this over to Reyes before going off for a change. Whole line goes off for this Riels team now. Gets Cockrell out there along with Davis and Melstead. And Davis cutting off the twin along the boards, and Hedlund there before this gets played. Cross ice and out as Dominic Canoe sends this all the way in deep. It's Kalen Reyes sends this up to Melstead. Nice move at the blue line, but cut off there. Nice back check by Lizotte. Been so impressive today with everything he's done on all ends of the ice. Livingstone plays this up the boards. Pinching is Noah Keating. Nice recovery by the Riels to keep this in at the blue line, stripping that away from Medwick. Sent down low again. Livingstone up the boards to Lizotte. Lizotte can fire it to the middle. So it'll be taken away and regrouped by Fort Garry once again. Flipped into the Riels, and Reyes had position on Lizotte before being ridden out into the boards. Keaton gonna take exception to that. Medwick coming in afterwards to defend his teammate as well. So with 3:04 remaining in this third period of action, 5-3 the score in favor of Fort Garry here on MMJHL Game Day. We remain at 5-on-5, and the Riels, they've been pushing in this period, but still, it's been a struggle for them to get the high-quality offensive opportunities we're used to seeing them getting. It's been Fort Garry's just grabbed this one and have run with it this afternoon. or rather have skated with it. So it's a 6-on-5. The Riels have their goalie pulled. We'll see how the Twins play this. Flipped all the way into the Riels' end, and that will be called for an icing. With 2:36 left on the clock. Draw one by Fort Garry. Taking the body hard there was Ethan Johnson. It's Davis, Trott down low. Cole Davis, that is. As this puck gets played into the Twins bench. With 2:26 left on the clock and a timeout taken by Paul Castus and the St. Boniface Riels. I mean, the Riels, I'd say their biggest strength offensively outside of how great that forecheck can pressure you, which hasn't been as effective in this matchup here this afternoon, given how strong a defensive team and how quick the Fort Garry Twins can move that puck and how strong of a defensive team they are. But what the Riels have still been able to do is, well, when they've had an extra man out on the ice, they've been able to work the puck quickly and effectively to open up shooting lanes, passing lanes. It's just about capitalizing at this point, and we'll see what they draw up here after this timeout. You need this face-off win to give yourself the best chance. If not, you got to get hard on the forecheck right away with speed. As that a tie-up in the face-off circle. The Riels just able to win the draw. This sent down low off the backboards. The Twins try to pinch it or chip it out, and yes, they do, all the way back down to the Riels' end. For another icing. All of the top players out there pretty much for this Riels squad, the exception of certain players not being out there. So many weapons for this Riels team. These six got to get something going here, though, with over 2 minutes remaining in this game. This all the way down won't be enough. Yes, it will be to get into the back of the net. This is at Dean Gorchinski. Yes, it is. Goal number 30 for the Twins captain this season. Point number 91 as well. Congratulations to Dean Gorchinski on what's been a phenomenal regular season for him. That's continued this afternoon. 6-3 the score now for the Twins in a showdown between two top three teams here in the MM. And for Gary, it's just been a defensive clinic here this afternoon. I mean, what else can you say? Riels team that, of course, has averaged so many shots per game this season. If we take a look at their stats, that all the way down for another icing, but St. Boniface has averaged 41 shots per game this year. They've been held to 18 so far here today, and it's been great blocks, sacrificing the body from this Fort Garry Twins team, and just getting after the Riels when they're in your own end, right? Not sitting back and not letting them come to you. That's a way to beat an aggressive team like this Riels team. Fort Garry's laid out the blueprint here today on how to do it. So the question is, other teams follow suit, right? And play with this much intensity. You got it. By the way, that goal by Gorchinski brought to you by Mick Fasteners and Tools. But that, another example of Fort Garry just going hard on pucks in their own end, back checking hard. Physical play there by Brzezinski. Lays a hit that allows for Cole Davis to get this loose puck. Davis has this stripped away. More great defense from Fort Garry as they make their way down into the Riels' end once again. And Fort Garry, 44 seconds away now. A penalty coming up here and a fight ensuing. Hold the phone as Dominico throwing a bunch of punches What do I believe is Caden Hedlund? My word, those were some heavy blows from number 15, who the frustration for him at an all-time high in this game. Hedlund has his bell run there behind the net with clear blows to his head that didn't have its helmet on. Other fights ensuing. Another Twins player with his helmet off who just had a Riel and a headlock, and Holmes. It was Sukit. Ooh, they're still pushing and shoving at each other. Now Dominico comes back around and gives a shove to Holmes too. Dominico will be sent out of this game. So will Holmes. Anyone else? We'll have to wait and see here as the referees sort this out. What I was trying to say before the fights ensued, Fort Garry was about 44 seconds away from securing what will be their 13th straight victory. They'll stay atop of the standings for first place, and they would appreciate if the Stonewall Jets can come out with a victory here tonight too. So if we take a look at it, Charleswood taking on Stonewall tonight. Stonewall's been on a mini heater as of recently. 2 straight wins put together by them. If we take a look at the standings, I mean, a win would help Stonewall get closer to securing that 7th seed. But as for Fort Garry, if they grab the full 2 points, which it's looking like they very well will here, barring something disastrous for them, and I mean it would have to be disastrous for them to lose this game with 40.2 seconds left in the third, up by 3. But they'd make it to 68 points, and if Stonewall's able to pull off the upset tonight against Charleswood, then Charleswood would remain 4 points back of Fort Garry with 3 games remaining for both of these teams. And by the way, Stonewall and Charleswood tonight could very well be a preview of what's to come in the first round of the MMJHL playoffs in the 2 versus 7th seed series. As in this game, in the third period of action, Gorchinski and Trott having an extensive conversation with the referees. Trying to get some clarity on who could be getting penalties, what's the situation with the players that got sent off the ice. As for Gorchinski and Trott, both have scored in this game. Gorchinski reaching goal number 30 here tonight, or this afternoon. In this early evening now, with an empty net goal. But as for us, in terms of what we got coming up next here on G-Show Productions, MMJHL Game Day broadcast schedule, not too many games left at all here, folks, in this season before we get set for MMJHL playoffs that will be starting in the first few weeks of March. Can't wait to be calling as many playoff series as we can this year. Excited for the playoffs to start. We'll have all the coverage on your home for MMJHL hockey on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. But yeah, next time we'll be live will be Thursday night at St. Vital as the Vics welcome in the Stonewall Jets. Both teams will be putting their short winning streaks on the line in what will be their final meeting of this 2024-2025 season, unless they somehow meet in the playoffs. So, update on the penalty situation here is they just put a 5-minute major up for Zachary Dominico and took it off the board. He got kicked out of this game along with some of the Twins players. But still, the discussion as, Tyler Moore is pretty livid about something down there. Same with Paul Castus about the way that was called. So I believe, based on the reaction, yes, it will be a 5-minute game misconduct that will be served by Dubois here for the last 40.2 seconds. As it'll send Fort Garry on to what will be the final power play of this game. So they'll just be looking to control this one. Respect from this team to be able to do that, just playing keep away. As Neufeld with it on a stick. And for the Fort Garry Twins, as Neufeld actually lets one rip. That turned aside by O'Sullivan. Neufeld takes a bit of a body check down low. With 12 seconds remaining, the Riels send this all the way down. It'll be their second straight loss for Fort Garry. Opposite for them. Not only another win in the win column for them, but their 13th straight as the Fort Garry Twins get closer and closer to locking up first place with another win here this afternoon against one of the best teams in the MMJHL in the St. Boniface Riels. Fort Garry will improve to 33 wins on the season, while St. Boniface loses just their 10th game in regulation this season. St. Boniface will fall to 4th place, considering they come out of this with no points today. And that Transcona was a point behind them heading into today's action. Ended up getting that 9-0 victory over the River East Royal Knights. So, yeah, Fort Garry keeps their spot atop of the first place spot atop of the MMJHL standings. St. Boniface looking to bounce back, of course, big time in their next few games after losing both games this week. And weekend, they'll be back in action against the Charleswood Hawks, which that won't be an easy test coming up next Friday here at Southdale Arena. But as for this game, I felt like, honestly, a TSN turning point in terms of the Riels not coming back in this game were two instances. Both coming in that second period where Trott puts it in for his second of the game in tight. Everyone from St. Boniface is celebrating. The crowd's going crazy, but the refs mark that the net is off. I thought it was a very close call. Didn't really see the net off before that puck went in, so was a bit questionable. But you got to continue to play the game if you're the St. Boniface Riels, and that they did, but it went into the advantage of the Fort Garry Twins as Fort Garry able to capitalize, catching the Riels maybe puck watching a bit on a stretch pass over to Balshaw, who let one rip short-handed to make things 5-2 in the second period, which, in my opinion, truly ended up putting this game out of reach for St. Boniface. And given the time of that goal, too, right? Under a minute to play in the second period, you're already down by 2, you have a power play, and you let one in short-handed. That's devastating to the psyche, to be honest with you. No matter if they wanted to admit it or not, I'm not sure if they would, talk about that goal as being as crucial as they did. But, yeah, all credit to Fort Garry today for coming in and taking care of business. They started off as the much stronger team in this game today and carried that throughout this matchup. St. Boniface looked like maybe they were threatening at points, but Fort Garry just proved again why they've been the first-place team for last few weeks here. It's just been high-level offense. Their top guys are coming to play, and just an all-around great effort at all ends of the ice. Holding this St. Boniface team to a very uncharacteristic game to only 18 shots. This team has averaged 41 per game, which, you can't say enough about the performance that Fort Garry had today. Absolutely phenomenal from them in the victory. We're going to get into the players of the game now. The losing side brought to you by Make Cannon Fasteners and Tools. for the St. Boniface Riels, for them today, I thought that, Matthew Trott played with a lot of heart in this game today. Trott was doing a very good job at locating pucks that were within, a bunch of sticks sometimes, getting it out and creating through the chaos. And yeah, Trott, I thought, had a great forecheck today. He ends up being rewarded with a goal. That ended up being on the power play. Should have had to, but that's just the way it rolls sometimes. And yeah, thought that throughout this game he was doing a good job of instilling himself on the forecheck, wasn't afraid to get physical, was winning a lot of his puck battles, and was nifty around the net and either setting guys up or putting in the back of the net, which a bit unlucky for him, having that second goal waved off and his teammates not quite being able to put away the feeds that he was setting up here today. Could have also given this player of the game to Reeves Sukit, but decided to go with Matthew Trott, which I thought overall doing all the right things well in this game, the little things too, but yeah, going hard until the very end and not afraid to get physical on the Fort Garry Twins. In the player of the game, brought to you by Midcan Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs here in the province of Manitoba. Brought to you by, not brought to you by, but sponsoring another edition of MMJHL Game Day for another live stream here. You can be sure to check out their website, mckenfasteners.shop, as well as their two store locations, one in Brandon and one in Winnipeg. As for the Fort Garry Twins, their play of the game, which will be brought to you by Kansas Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. For me today, I love the game of Matt Lizotte. He comes away with a whole bunch of assists. Lizotte was very active on the forecheck today and was creating a lot off of that. Created his offense through that hard work, got physical, set up his teammates with primary assists, made them look good. He had a highlight reel pass over to Sam Matani, most notably, which ended up being his second assist of the game, which left him wide open backdoor, and Matani just had to tap it home. And yeah, that line set the pace throughout this whole game for Fort Garry, and Lizotte was a huge part of that success. See, guys, Fort Garry's play of the game brought to you by Kansas Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Be sure to visit their only store location here in Winnipeg, Manitoba at 995 Miltz Drive, as well as their website at kansascentralsportscards.com. They're your premier sports cards and memorabilia store here in the city of Winnipeg, so be sure to check them out. You won't be disappointed whether you're a new or seasoned collector. And they don't just got sports cards, they got cards of a whole bunch of other stuff. You name it, they probably have it. But yeah, Lizotte gets player of the game for the Twins. The Riels player of the game goes to Matthew Trott. And as for us, we'll be back in action on Thursday night at St. Vital Arena for Vicks, taking on the Stonewall Jets. The Stonewall will be in town. As for the rest of the schedule today, Charleswood ends off this week's schedule by taking on Stonewall in Stonewall at 8 p.m. at the Stonewall Veterans Memorial Complex. The Twins improve to 33-7-2 on the season. The Riels fall to 30-10-2. Also falling to fourth place after Transcona came away with a huge win today. The final today, 6-3 in favor of the Fort Garry Twins, winning the season series as well by a score of 3-2. Until next time for these two teams, they might meet each other in the playoffs, or they may not. Whatever happens, we're going to be excited to cover it. Thank you to Kansas Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico Goaltenders, and Midcan Fasteners and Tools for sponsoring another edition of this MMJHL Game Day live stream, and thank you to you, MMJHL hockey fans, for tuning into this one. The Twins showing why they're the number one team in the league, defeating the now fourth place St. Boniface Riels by a score of 6-3. The final here from Southdale Arena on the Sunday afternoon. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.